Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel. Let's hang out here for a second and get some people to roll in here. Let me make sure I have the chat on lock and make sure we are actually live on the other one. Let me go look. Suddenly you're live and your brain doesn't work. me specifically. Okay, it's good. We're live. We are live in effect. Yep, classic. Forgot to mute your own thing. Got it. Awesome, cool. What's up, Jeremy? What's up, Burkant? Awesome, cool. I didn't schedule it very far ahead of time, so I just wanted to make sure we have it going good. But now that I see that there are 24 of you viewing, welcome. Welcome to the show. Today, I'm here with my good friend, Chris Grant, a.k.a. Clear the Shelf. Some of you might follow his podcast. I believe it's a top 5 have to listen to Amazon podcast, right? Like, if not number 1, depending on what you're into. You know, maybe you're not into private labels, so Chris is number 1. I don't know, but it's a good podcast. I like to listen to it. And it's that time of the year, so Chris is doing the OA Challenge, which is an online arbitrage challenge course. It is a week long. It is like boot camp. 2 weeks long. 2 weeks long, sorry. 14 days boot camp. If you want to learn online arbitrage specifically, or if you want to learn how to use Keepa Product Finder, Chris is the man. I learned much of what I know, besides just reading basic charts on Keepa, from Chris. So I still refer people to him. I mean, Keepa is like super, you use it 1,000 ways, and Chris probably knows 898 of them. So he's a guy you want to learn from. And this year there's a new thing Chris Scott's going in infinite leads. Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, so I'm calling this particular strategy the infinite lead strategy. And the reason is that one of the biggest problems that people come to me with is, man, I just don't know where to start. Like there's so much thrown at us. You know, we can sign up for emails from 1,000 different stores. We can, get hung up trying to figure out where to storefront stock. And so I tried to figure out, like, how can we make that go away? And I think I figured it out, where we can just start anywhere. We can throw a dart, and with enough time, we will find something that's profitable. And it hasn't failed me so far, so I'm starting to share it.
Awesome. I got a good one. I'm going to put you to the test here with a good one. But I just want to be transparent with the viewers. We are promoting, the OA Challenge, which if you want to learn online arbitrage, I highly recommend you do it. It is unique in the fact that it's not something you buy and then you're done. You go through it day by day with Chris. He leads you through it, and you have the recording. So it's not the type of course you could buy and not do, because if you buy this, you show up, you're going to be doing it, which I think is great because it makes it much more of a hands-on thing where you're held accountable or whatever. So yes, grab that. Link is in the bio. Sign up closes at midnight. But for the next hour, we're going to do our best. Chris is going to do his best. I'm going to, I'll might input a little bit. But to give you guys as much of that knowledge as we can for free. So obviously you can't learn 14 days of something in an hour. And, we're not going to stay here too late, but we're going to give you a good hour, and please ask questions in the chat if you have specific things you want to learn about. There's no better person and no better time to learn it than now. Also, thank you everybody for showing up. Like the video, share it. But yeah, let's get into it. Let me find, you want to talk a little bit about the system while I go through my history and just give me a little bit of lead time to find the lead that I actually want you to look up?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole idea of this was, people were getting stuck. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. How do I even know if it's a storefront that I should stock, or how do I know if they're not brand direct? And the whole point is just to be able to take those problems away. What sale do I source? Well, that's kind of a pain, So what we can do is we can just go to any particular product on Amazon, doesn't matter what it is, and then we are going to create dozens and then hundreds of rabbit trails off of that. And then we're going to use our online arbitrage best practices to find the products profitably. And I see you popped in an ace in here.
I did. I also emailed it to you, but yeah, I was trying to be slick.
Yeah, that's all right. I got it.
I appreciate it, bro. You gave me a good 20-second lead right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it won't allow me to put, or at least on Facebook, it didn't allow me. So for those of you that are on the chat on YouTube, one of you that live in YouTube, there's a link in the chat. Go there, and you can look at the exact item we're looking at on your own. Chris is going to open up his screen here.
All right, I'm sharing my screen. I think you may have to enable it.
Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I have to add it to stage. There we go. And let me disable my super annoying background thing here. Can we make it bigger? Is there a way? How do we? There definitely is. Yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Hey, Kevin, what's going on? All right. So this is a great example here. So
let me preface you on this item right now, or have you seen this item recently?
Not recently, no.
So this was a hot Q4 Christmas item, Disney Descendants, selling above MSRP. And so it's normally $20 to $25, and even Amazon themselves was gouging up into the $65 and $70 range when they were having a hard time keeping in stock. They obviously got more stock after Christmas, but it looks like they're having the same problem again. It's not selling as well, but that's still, thousands of times a month.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is selling very, very well. All right.
This is an item that you could actually set a Keepa alert right now and buy from Amazon when they're in stock, and possibly sell back on Amazon for profit. However, the future of Amazon stock is uncertain. That's the only uncertain thing on this, is that are they going to have the same trouble staying in stock after Christmas, and what's the demand like going forward? Because kids love these Descendants dolls.
Yeah, I don't know. None of my kids are into this kind of stuff, so I tend not to know very much about these things or see a lot of these things. But
yeah, same. But I recall too, for this IP, I always sell Halloween costumes for these. The 3 different girls.
Yeah, I sold a lot of Paw Patrol since I got a kid, and he would binge watch Paw Patrol. Heck, I would too. I actually really like it. But
there ain't nothing wrong with that,
right? Let's talk about what this method is. So what we've got here is we've got a product, and maybe we're not going to find this profitably right now. We're just gonna imagine that we're not going to be able to go and find this at Target or Walmart or anywhere else. It's out of stock everywhere except for Amazon right now. And so if this were to show up on a lead list, or someone were to tell you about this, you might be like, well, this is a dead end. The only thing I can do is maybe set an alert to see if I can get this for, let's see. I need to get it for $15 to make a $3 to $5 profit if I was going to merchant fulfill it at $31. FBA looked to be about $42. So maybe you can grab it at, 15 to 20 and make a few dollars on this if that price holds. Or you hold this for 6 months when it's no longer being made, and maybe you sell it for a little bit more, 6 months, a year, something like that. All right. But what can we do right now? All right. Well, what we can do is we can come down into Keepa, and we can go into the data section, and we can go to the offers. And under the offers section, we're going to get rid of all the used and the collectible sellers. And we're going to include the historical offers. All right. And what we've got here is we now have 132 different sellers on this particular listing. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take all of these. We're going to grab all of the seller IDs, and we're going to open these up in Keepa, in the Keepa product finder. Now you can open up 50 at a time. That means we need to open up 3 different Keepa product finder windows, and we need to put in each of these seller IDs individually. Now I'm going to cheat just a little bit, because I'm going to make this a little easy on myself, and I'm going to use a tool. So I'm going to go over here to Rev Seller. I'm going to choose historical offers, and under seller IDs, I am going to start opening these up in Keep a Product Finder. I'm going to show you what we're going to find here.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Is that's a RevSeller extension or feature?
Yes.
That is amazing. I did not know that. I've been on the Seller Amp train for so long that I forgot my roots.
Yeah. So now that we've done that, if you look here, out of the first 50 sellers, they have 585,587 products in stock on Amazon right now. The next set of 50 sellers has 411,000 items in stock. And the third set, which would have been about 32 sellers, has 22,000 items in stock on Amazon. Now, some of these are going to be overlapped. Some of these sellers are going to be selling the same thing. We know that because in all three of these, the Lego heart ornament is at the very top. So we've got some people who are obviously selling toys and selling some similar things. So that's fine. Now, what we're going to do here is this is way too many to go. I mean, nobody's going to go through 500,000 products and see if all of these are profitable. So what we're going to do is we're going to run into our advanced filter, and we're going to go in and we're going to narrow this down a little bit. So here's what I'm
One second, Chris. One second, Chris. I just want to address a potential audio issue before we get too deep into it. Carlos in the chat was saying that there's an audio issue. Can anybody else confirm or deny this situation? You sound good to me, Chris. Am I loud?
The only thing that I hear is your gain seems to be very high.
I can turn it down.
There we go. That's
it's better.
That's
okay.
Perfect on my end.
How is that better, guys?
Yeah, that's
wonderful. I guess that works then.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to our advanced filter, and now we're going to kind of surgically pare down what we're looking for. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, show me the items that these sellers are on that are currently ranked between 25,000 and 250,000. Now, a lot of people will stop me here and they'll say, well, why are you going 25,000? That seems, you're going to miss all the things that are ranked number 1 and 5,000 and 10,000. But here's the thing. The way that I do business on Amazon, I actually don't want the items that are selling 3,000 times a month because everyone else also wants those items. So I tend to stay away from them, and I go for a catalog method where we try to build a larger catalog, and that does a couple of things for us. One, it keeps sales up because we've got so many different items that we can sell. But the other thing is if one of those products tanks really bad, then we've got, hundreds of others to pick up the slack. And we're it's kind of like putting chips on every number on the roulette table rather than just choosing 21.
It's a little bit like having your own, like a few secret fishing holes instead of just going to the one that is going to have a lot of fish, but you also know there's going to be a lot of people there, and that's super annoying for a lot of reasons.
Exactly. So now I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do an average sales rank of the same thing here because I'm looking for products that have staying power. All right. I don't want products that, maybe they're 25,000 today, but they're 500,000 on average over the last 6 months. And I'm even going to do 180 days. All right. Because there's a lot of products here. And then I'm going to go to the buy box section. And in the buy box, I really want to sell things that are $30 and above. And I want to sell things that have been $30 or more on average for a long period of time. I don't really want the products that, have a high deviation in the price on them. I like stability. So we're going to find a bunch of products that are just boring. Now, I did $30 or more up to 180 days over the 90-day average, 30-day average, and currently. But I'm going to do one other thing. In this 30-day drop section, I'm going to put a negative 75 to 10. Now, what this means is this is a 30-day drop percentage in the price is actually the price going down because Keepa was built for consumers, not sellers. So I've put a negative in the very first one. This means it can go up to 75% higher in price to a 10% drop in the price. All right. So I'm configuring the data the way that I want it to be.
Yeah.
And we're down to 6,600. Yeah, go ahead.
That is, pay attention, guys. That is key. That is, he could say that like 5 or 10 times in a row. That is, there are so many different filters in Keepa that you just have to use them a lot to get used to it and feel more comfortable. By now, Chris is a lot more comfortable using it, but even Chris doesn't use nearly all of these in any search ever. It's just like, yes, it's overwhelming, but just know you're only tweaking a few little switches here. And the reality is you just get like infinite possibilities with this machine. And like the negative thing to see that the price grows, that is key. I remember when I learned that the first time because I never knew you could. I didn't know you could do that until I met you, Chris.
Oh,
I was like, oh, drop percentage. Oh yeah. It goes down.
Yeah. So we're going to do a few more things here because I really want to get surgical. We're going to take Amazon out of stock. Now, you can compete with Amazon. I'm not saying you can't. I just don't want to in this case. And there were 6,000 products. Now we're down to 3,700. I really want to get this down to a couple hundred, something that I could realistically go through in an afternoon or a day. All right. Excuse me. Now we're going to keep going. We're going to add just a few more filters in here. We're going to go down to the new offer count. And over the 30-day average, I want there to be between 3 and 12 offers. Now, 3, why would I do that? Well, I want to make sure that no private label stuff has snuck in. And why only 12 sellers? Well, this is one of the biggest complaints that I hear is there are so many people competing on a listing. And it's not quite the way to look at it, but I totally understand. So we're going to try to keep this fairly light on the number of sellers. So 3 to 12 sellers on average over the past 30 days. We're going to do the exact same over the past 90 days and over the past 180 days. Now, what this does for us is this should pull back products where there's not these massive swings in the number of sellers. Over the past 30, 90, and 100 days, the average number of sellers should be no more than 12. If you really wanted to, you could go out to 365, but that might be too much because there are going to be times when there are more than 12 sellers on a listing, and I don't want to over filter. All right. Now,
Definitely want to cast a wider net.
Absolutely. Now, the last thing we're going to do here is I know that we said, hey, I want Amazon to be out of stock currently, but I want Amazon to go ahead and just be out of stock for the majority of the time on a listing. So I'm going to say 70% or more over the past 90 days that I want Amazon to be out of stock. That way, it's not one of my worries. I just have to worry about the other sellers. I don't really have to worry about Amazon coming on the listing too frequently. And now we're from 500,000, we're down to just a little under 2,000 products to look at. Still more than we're going to get through in a reasonable amount of time, but a lot less than a totally unmanageable number. So we're going to go ahead and pull these up. And what I start doing here, rather than just going through every single one, is I'm going to look for something that looks interesting to me. Okay. And if we notice, we're going to look at this Cuisinart coffee maker here for just a moment. This thing says that in the past month, it sold 400 or more. That is down from the past 90 days. So that means that it's down from Q4 or Christmas when this was maybe given as a Christmas gift. We can see here that the sales rank currently is pretty good, 25,000. It's been good over the past 30 and 90 and 180 days. And the price has stayed really flat. 212, 204, 203, 211 average prices. So this is something that just stays in a nice corridor and doesn't really change too much. We can actually see what we're seeing right here is we're seeing sellers on this listing use something um, where they oscillate the price. They're using a price oscillation repricing strategy, keeping it between 200 and 239. You'll see that's actually the exact same seller. There are 10 people on this listing. Now, question is, can we actually find this profitably? That's the thing that we don't know, okay? The other thing we have to know here is there are variations on this listing. Now, this particular variation says that it was selling 400 per month. Actually, I need to configure one of my columns here. I don't know why it's not turned on. Bought in the past month. There we go.
It's only the most important metric we have in our arsenal.
Right. So this one's at 400. This bronze looking one here is at 100. And it looks like it's selling for a little bit more. So there's actually two here without even doing some real digging that we could go after. So it's not just one lead, it's now two leads. And if we come down to this one, well, sure enough, the number of ratings is going up. It says 50 over the last month. This one's at 209. So it's a little lower, but it's got less competitors on it. And so now we've got three different leads right here that we could look at. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open this up on Amazon. Oops, I opened up Keepa, not Amazon. There we go. We're going to open this up on Amazon. And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go out and we're going to do a Google search and see what we can find. Now,
if you're curious how he's doing all this wizardry, a lot of that is with RevSeller, which is that extension that bakes it right in there to the
And
middle. If you don't know what it is, it's like SellerAmp. This is SellerAmp's granddaddy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Who's still in the game? He's still lifting heavy weight.
That's right. Yeah, he's still putting in the deadlifts every day. SellerAmp does most of what RevSeller will do. So, but I've done the Google search, and now it's just time to see if we can find a match. Now, let me double check that. That one at Dillard's may be a match. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is. It looks the same. I have to double check the model numbers, et cetera, and so on. But what we've got here is we'll say Dillard's, and let's just see if there's any other in Google Shopping that look the same. Looks like Bed Bath & Beyond have the cream one at 189. So we'll open that up and see if there's any others up here. So this is one thing I really like about doing these Google searches is we get some weird places. So we're going to open up this sporadic and we're going to do a little research on this. All right. And see if that is a legitimate place to buy stuff. But now if we go down a little bit further, we can see Amazon is here. Oh, look at that. We can get it over at Target right there. Looks like Cuisinart may sell it themselves. It also shows this is in their discontinued area. Okay. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. This is discontinued, which means the price may go up. You don't want to take that to the bank though, right now. All right. Keep going a little bit and see if we can find this anywhere else.
Yeah, be careful not to look at used stuff when you're going through this.
Absolutely. And don't ever go to AliExpress or Shein or Temu or Mercari or any of these other places. You want to keep it to legitimate.
I think that's a huge thing. I glossed over that, and I had a student last year that genuinely didn't know they were purchasing counterfeit stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were just overwhelmed with the good deal they got and the price. And so I think that it's whenever you think the deal is too good to be true, your first instinct should be to investigate, not to celebrate.
Exactly. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do here because we've got one that seems too good to be true. All right. So we've got Dillard's. Now, Dillard's was doing no, that wasn't Dillard's. That was Bloomingdale's. Sorry. I take that back. Bloomingdale's was doing a 30% off over like $250 or something. on some of their products. Dillard's is not, but we could go in and we could see, are there any discount gift cards? Are there any codes or anything like that where we could get this down? Because realistically, we need to get this under $150 to have a chance of making this profitable. All right. So it's really too high right now. Come over here. We can get this one for $189.95. We're going to go ahead and open up the variation listing. Open this one up here. And this one's at $209.99 right now. We would need to get this one under $150 as well. So not really going to get us there. There's a 20% coupon here. I don't know if that's going to actually work on this particular item because it is select merchandise only. So I highly doubt it since this is a sale item. But we could try and look for other ways to get this down, see if we could get it under there. All right. But then we've got Sporadic, and Sporadic says this is $67.80. This place is sus. All right. This is a very, very plain website. So we're going to open up their social media. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool called ASIN Gadget. I'm going to pop it open here and I'm going to look. Well, this was registered back in 2023. And if we look at their Trustpilot, they're at 3.8. So
no bueno.
Well, that's actually pretty good for an e-commerce website. I'm usually happy if it's above 2 because you only get the people who complain for the most part.
True.
Now, they may be stuffing reviews here. So let's check their reviews over here. Never received my order. Don't order. Nope. All right. So this is no good. All right. It is too good to be true. That looks like they might be stuffing their Trustpilot reviews. We're at $199 over here. I know I can get about 7%.
That was $100 lesson right there.
Yes, it was.
Right there.
I know that I could probably get 7% off here, but that's about all I'm going to get. Kohl's is too high. Best Buy is not available. And Walmart is not sold by Walmart. It is sold by a third-party seller. So that's a no-go. So this one's a bust. All right. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh, well, I just wasted my time, Chris. That really kind of sucks. But we didn't. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. All right.
Also, keep in mind, if Chris wasn't teaching while doing this, that would have taken all of 60 seconds or less.
Oh, yeah. We would have been done real fast. All right. Now we've got all these listings to continue to go through. All right. But you're like, well, that's only 1,900 listings. You know, what happens then? What am I supposed to do? Well, we've got three different Amazon listings here that are solid. Okay. Which means it's got some sellers on these listings that obviously know what they're doing. So we're going to do the exact same thing over again. And we're going to choose the historical sellers. And this Cuisinart item has even more than that doll did. Wow. 600 sellers have been on this historically. So we start opening these. All right.
Do you find, Chris, that certain products are more or less likely to reveal certain types of sellers? Or is I guess it doesn't matter where in the supply chain you're getting it, whether it's wholesale or arbitrage or online or retail. But I'm just curious.
I haven't really found that. It seems to be all over the place. So, like, for example, we went from a doll, and one of the sellers, took us to this coffee maker, and one of the sellers from the coffee maker over here is obviously selling a bunch of windshield wipers. That maybe they're doing some retail arbitrage from the Advanced Auto Parts that are closing down. 700 stores across the U.S. All right. But now we've got there was 90,000, 50,000, and 600,000. So we've got over 700,000 more products here that we can winnow down or narrow down and keep going. All right.
Let's get a little coffee break for you real quick. If you're just tuning in right now, I'm live with Chris Grant. He is showing us how to use Keep a Product Finder with a new strategy that he's calling Infinite Leads. And we are promoting the online challenge, which Chris does every single year. It is a 14-day online arbitrage training boot camp that you go through. So it's not like you bought it and you can ignore it. He will hold your hand and take you through the program for 14 days. Even though I have a mentorship program and I teach people how to sell on Amazon, I still tell people, look, I can teach you online arbitrage, but if you want to really get into the nitty gritty of it, specifically Keep a Product Finder stuff, Chris is your guy. So I send my students to Chris and I highly recommend it. I learned a lot about what I know about Keep a Product Finder from Chris. So that's what we're here promoting. But in the meantime, we are trying to give you guys as much value as we can for an hour. Half hour has passed. We got at least another half hour to go. And Chris is just demonstrating how to do online arbitrage using Keep a Product Finder and his new Infinite Leads strategy. So if you guys have questions, please put those in the chat. I will answer those, or I will actually just bring them up for Chris to answer. And just let me know if you need clarity or if the audio is good or bad. We corrected it earlier, but otherwise we're just hanging out and soaking up some game from Chris.
All right. So while Rizu was talking there, I found another product here. This one is a Star Wars Black Series. We're going to go ahead and open this up. Looks like this is running at $36.95 right now. We need to double check that it's obviously selling. Now, this is a lagging indicator, not a leading indicator. All right. And we can see that this has definitely been put into a listing with other variations. It was not selling nearly as fast before, or looks like it was selling nearly as fast, but looks like it's picked up velocity since it's been put into a listing with other items here. Okay. And we found it. Now, this is $36.95 on Amazon. There would not be a lot of money here based on this tech insight. I would also need to make sure that there's no shipping cost, because it looks like this may be a site from the other side of the pond. Now, that doesn't always stop me as long as it makes sense. But here it says, no import duty to be paid. It does have shipping to the United States, language in English. I would need to do a little bit of digging here. All right. The Trustpilot reviews were good. This site has been around since 2001. Okay. So it's been around for quite some time. And if we look at their Facebook page, they've got 26,000 followers. They are pretty active on here. So we have some good things going on. And they're from Spain. So oh, that's right. I knew that. So we would just have to double check to see if this is the actual US price that would come to the United States. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just do 10 of these real quick. View basket.
Yeah, just to make sure there's no international like crazy. Yeah, $42.
There it is, $42. So that's no good. All right. But we've got now what this does for me is this does not mean that site would never be good in the future, because there are times when it makes sense to pay that kind of shipping. Okay. But now what I have here is I have a couple of things. Number one, I've got a new product. I've got an Amazon, or I've got a Star Wars product, but now I have a new site that I know about. So if I ever see it in the future, I know, okay, that one's safe. I could probably order from there. Not a big deal. All right. We can see this also at Big Bad Toy Store, but it's $25.99. That is going to make it so it's not profitable, because they do $4 flat rate shipping. So if I buy 5 of them, I'm going to be a little under $1 in shipping. No good there. Looks like they may have it at Entertainment Earth. On the retail side, and we'll just see if it's anywhere else here. I don't see it there. Let's scroll down a little bit. That's $27.99 at CMD store. Now, here's the other thing you need to do. You always need to go to the second page of Google. The best
What?
place to hide
The second
a
page?
dead body is the second page of Google. And this
Chris,
is also the best
we haven't
place
been to the
hide.
second page of Google since 2006.
I hear you. I hear you, man. You will find some really, really cool stuff here. So, for example, we're going to just open up this site here. This site is Fourth Moon Toys. Now, I don't know anything about them, but there are a lot of niche sites out online. And what they can be is they might just be a niche website that sells products. It might be a arm of a local business. There are a lot of mom and pop shops that also sell on their own websites. And these are easy to check if they're legit. We can come out here. We can see that this place has been around since 2019. That doesn't make me feel horrible. I like stuff that's a little older, but 5 years is not bad. Their Trustpilot is 3.7. That's not bad either when it comes to Trustpilot. And then, of course, we can go and we can check their social media as well. Now, this is not going to be profitable at $26.99. It also says pre-order now back from December 2024. So they obviously either haven't updated their site or they ran out of stock and didn't change this around. Okay. But here's another place that we might go look at some other things. We could go and we could look at all of their Hasbro Black Series that they've got in stock. Could we go through each and every one of these and see if any of these are profitable on this website? So that's why this is an infinite system, okay? Because we start with a product and then we have thousands of other products we can look at. We go down Google and we can do a Google search on them. Maybe we come across an interesting website we've never heard of before, and we know if we could get to $99, we can get free shipping, and it seems to be legit. Let's see if they take PayPal, stuff like that. That'll help us as well. But now we can go and we can source all of the products on this website too. All right, which we'll do really quickly here. Do a quick search and see if Ahsoka, I believe, is on Amazon. And it looks like she may be. I don't think that's the same one. I have to find the right listing. But that's what we can do. And that's what makes this infinite. I think we're going to be at a dead end here, but we've also got this at GameStop. Nice, easy one to know. And we've got Hasbro Pulse as well. Another very good website. And then we just keep going down this path. Okay. If you guys want me to go fast, I can try to find something profitable, or we can keep kind of going down how I do this very, very manually. It's totally up to you guys.
I mean, just let's hit one. Do what you do, but try to narrate as much as possible.
All right.
And I'll try to fill in the gaps.
Now, I know exactly where to get this. Okay. Actually, I think. So this is an item, and this is why I like this method, because what this does is this takes us into places that we may not go ourselves. I typically do not sell vinyl. I will on occasion. Matter of fact, I sent some in. I absolutely tanked. It was a horrible, horrible purchase decision. But this is something that I would sell. Okay. I can see that the number of sellers is moving up and down on this. I know that this sales rank line is not looking the best, but it's definitely moving. So I know it's selling for sure. And this may be something I just never think about if it's not forced into my face. All right. Which is exactly what this does. This forces us into new niches. All right.
Which is really important for online arbitrage, because with retail arbitrage, we're doing it just by walking through a store, or pulling into a store you've never seen before or whatever. But online, it's different. You can't just, accidentally go to a new website. You have to, have a system where you do what Chris is doing right now.
Yep. All right. We've got Amazon. We've got Discogs. Let's look at this one here. Nope. I do not want that. I thought this was a Target, but it is not a Target. Oof. They're expensive over there, $53.99, but we've got Townsend Music at 34. Not going to be profitable, all right? But very, very easy. And now, yet again, we've got another place that we could source from. I know that Townsend Music has been around for quite some time. I know they're a legitimate website. They've been around since 2019. Their Trustpilot is not good, but I actually do know that they actually do ship. They just don't have great customer service. All right. But there's that. And then of course we've got Barnes and Noble. But let's run through this fast so we can try to find something profitable here. It's another Skeleton Crew.
So when you were starting a search, how would you start one of these searches? Just any product that you've been looking at recently?
Honestly, really what I would do if I were just doing this on my own is I would literally go through every single one of these. This Borderlands, for example, this one doesn't sell crazy well at this higher price. So I'd end up skipping this one. We look at Firefighting Simulator. This is actually something I would sell. This is not something that a lot of people would overlook this kind of stuff. And they'd be like, that's selling too slow. I don't like it. But this is selling regularly. So I'd pick up 3 of these, no problem, and I'd sell these. And so I would do just a quick Google search on this. And let's just see if we can get this. We probably need to get this around $19.99. Game Flip is probably not going to be the place to go. That's also Nintendo Switch. We're looking for PS4. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in here just to narrow this down a little bit. And look at that. We've got GameStop at $19.99. That does say pre-owned. So not really interested there. This is the PlayStation Store. That's going to be digital. I don't know what G2A is, and that looks like it's just for PC. So we're going to scroll down a little bit more and see if we can find any other places to grab this at. PlayStation Play Asia. Didn't realize Target was selling German.
And a lot of this stuff too, like I feel like people would be like, "Oh, you found a new store, great!" Like you're overselling that as value, but the reality is like, okay, maybe that store has an email list. I guarantee they do. So you sign up for it like you should, and you forget about that store, but then they send you an email 6 months from now that says, "Hey, we're doing 50% off our PS4 games." And so you go on that, and it's a site that no one really knows about. It's not in tactical arbitrage. They don't do 50,000 units a month, but you got an email and you go and you find something in there. You know what I mean? Like that only has to make you not even too much money for that day for it to be worth it, considering like, yeah, we found a new store. Boom. Of course, I'm going to sign up for the list as well, but that might pay dividends later.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. Sorry, bear with me here. Game Flip.
And I always tell people too that's like it's with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. If you have a focal point to start with, because you're like, oh, this store is having a sale today. Okay, let's start over there. Or even, this for this month, my credit card has crazy rewards for this website. Or there's Rakuten cashback is over 10% on this site. So then you know what I mean? You start looking based on something. And so it's not always, that you look and then later try to find it. Sometimes you look for the deal first and you look only in there. And of course, nothing is guaranteed to work. You know what I mean? But
absolutely.
This is what you do, and the beauty of it is that you can do it from the comfort of your house. Or I know people that have full-time jobs that spend a lot of time on a computer, like free time. Literally, they could just watch YouTube videos if they want. They could be doing online arbitrage and getting paid by their first job to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Now I'm going to show you something else here in just a minute. One of the things, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, I'm just wasting my time here," and which you're not. And I'll explain here in just a moment. Let me just pull up another product here.
I mean, the reality is part of what we do is just educate ourselves and pack our brain database. So something as simple as just scrolling a certain product here, like I just saw it was like some weird dock for a laptop or something that went by. It was like 240 current price. And maybe I forget about that, and then someday I see one of those on clearance for $20, and I would have just like not even looked at it, but I'm like, no, wait, those weird Dell docks for laptops sell for like $200, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Boom. Which back in the day, like, we're so lucky we have the internet now. Back in the day, we were like watching Antiques Roadshow, because I came up through like yard sales and thrift stores. And so you would buy books like, porcelain collectible book. And you just look at that, you know what I mean? So you could learn the marks and what things look like, or cast iron collectibles or furniture collectibles, or, you know what I mean? It's all about packing your brain, full of data. But now we have such immense tools that can allow us to analyze data. We're super spoiled.
Yeah, we are. Okay. These are $10 a pop. These donut flavored body washes. Probably get these discounted a little bit. Okay. These are $37.95 on Amazon at the moment for this 2-pack here. Now, Native does say here that they will issue some IP complaints. I am not really seeing that here. Now, IP alert happens to be mine. And I have actually gotten an IP complaint from Native in the past, but I believe that they have stopped. Now,
I agree too. Lots of people selling Native right now.
Yeah. So we can get this for $20. We can actually get it for a little bit less than that. We'd be looking at a $2.69 profit on this. But there's a couple of other things you need to do here. All right. Now, this one's actually been nice and flat in the buy box line, because it's fairly new. This listing is only 30 days old. We're probably going to see some price erosion on this pretty soon because the number of sellers has gone up pretty well, and it went down, but it's probably going to go back up again pretty soon here. Okay.
Yeah, you see that? Go back real quick. You could see it at the top too, but the blue line on the bottom chart, that's the amount of sellers, guys. And when the supply goes up, and assuming the demand stays the same, what did we learn happens? There's downward pressure on the price. So it doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but it means it might happen, and we have data to support that.
Exactly. So what we would do here is, personally, I would probably skip this. However, I want to make sure that I could sell this in the future. And one of the easiest ways to do this is that when you're sourcing, rather than just focusing on the moment, you want to try to set yourself up for some future success. And so if we know, hey, you know what? I really would like to sell this. I know that I know you can get like a 3-pack here. See, 20% off 3-packs. So we could get 20% off of this listing here. All right. So $20 times 0.8. We could actually get this for $16. Let's say that we really want to sell this when it gets to $39, if it does. So we're going to go down to Keepa. We're going to go to the track section here. And in the buy box, we're going to put in 3900. And then we're going to change this. Come on. We're going to change this from or less to or more. All right. I'm also going to grab the URL for this. And I'm going to put this into my memo section inside of my Keepa tracking. I'm going to pop in 39 for new here, just in case the buy box gets suppressed, include shipping costs. And now, if I click track on this, it's going to let me know when this product gets up to $39 in price. So I know that there's going to be some downward price pressure on this. Now, is this going to be a meme product? Is this going to go away pretty quickly? It's possible, but the Girl Scout native products did not go away, even though that was sort of a meme product or something that was supposed to be short-lived. Those are still on Target shelves. So does this last for a long time, just like those ones do? Maybe. And if this comes back up to $39, well, now I'm going to know, and I know exactly where to go find it. So whenever I'm sourcing, I'm doing two things. I'm trying to find profit now, and I'm trying to set myself up so that eventually I'm just getting alerts all the time, and I can go out and I can buy profitable products from the alerts that I get via email.
Yeah. Send yourself money in the future, guys. Chris is looking out for future Chris, and you should be looking out for future you too. So if you're just tuning in, we are doing an online arbitrage crash course with Chris Grant, who is the guy you want to learn from. We're specifically delving into the Keepa product finder with a tactic that Chris is calling infinite leads. And yes, we are promoting the OA Challenge, which is a 14-day boot camp that Chris does every year, and he leads you through it. He will hold your hand. You will be held accountable. As long as you show up and do the work, you will come out learning a ton. And I know earlier I said like that was a $100 tip. I feel like just another $100 of value just watching you go through Keepa and set all the filters and, the tracking, like. If you don't know you should be doing that activity of like, oh, it didn't work out right now. Wait a minute. Let me put 2 seconds of effort in to set a tracking alert. That will guaranteed make you over $1,000 in your lifetime as a seller, if not 10 or 100,000, because what you're doing is you're turning one dead end into a potential, options in the future. And eventually you just wake up and you have alerts every day and you check them all, and they're not all going to hit, but some of them will. And that's you doing minimal work. And you can do it two ways. You can say, hey, I'm going to buy this from Amazon when it's low and sell it back on Amazon. So alert me when the price goes back down. Because when you found it, it was high priced. Like that doll we looked at earlier that's supposed to be 20 and was selling for 60. Or you could do it the other way around, which is what Chris said, which is like, hey, okay, it's 20 now, but I see sometimes it goes to 60. Let me know when it's 60 so that I can then go back and buy it from the place that's for 20. And oh yeah, let me stuff the link in there in the notes so that when I do get that alert, I don't even have to go look for the link anymore. Mm-hmm. Genius. Wes is asking about selling multi-packs or bundles. What's your take on that? I'll say what I think is if the listing looks good and I feel like there's safety in numbers, and so, I make my call based off that, not necessarily what Amazon's policies are. As long as I know I'm keeping the customer's interest on the focus, that's how I would do it. But I'm interested to hear your reply.
We are replenishing the multi-pack rule changed for consumables. Now, soap is considered a consumable. My opinion is that we are replenishing our consumable multi-packs, but we are not replenishing them in big numbers, 20, maybe 30 units if it's something that sells really fast. I don't really know anybody who's gotten their hand slapped over it yet. I know a couple of listings have come down, but by and large, they have not. And I'm also looking for exit strategies if those listings do get dog paged. So with the listing, the multi-pack listings that I am on, most of them have a single pack listing that I could hop on and at least break even. And so that's what we've been trying.
Such a good answer and such a key point, because a lot of people will tell you how to make money and how to find the items that you can sell to make money, but they won't tell you what to do when it goes wrong. And that's as important or more important than actually making profit is protecting your profit, and shoring up your losses. And you got to be active about that stuff. So having an exit strategy, for example, it's very bad to buy a product in large quantity that doesn't sell large quantity, because even when you want to get rid of it, there's no way you can get rid of it. But if you buy an item that sells really fast and is in demand, then you can liquidate it whenever you want by just pricing it at market price. And if you have something go wrong, for whatever reason, you're going to want to be able to get rid of an item. So in certain scenarios, you might feel unsure, but because there's an escape strategy that's good, you're like, okay, let's roll those dice.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think, honestly, a lot of Amazon is like that. There's a lot of unquantifiable decisions that are hard to to teach or to like say a specific number, or it's just like, look, here's what you could do that's conservative. Here's what you could do as aggressive. If you don't like the results, go more or less one way or the other in the future. And I know that's how I've built my skill set, right? Is that you know what you know, and then you roll some dice, it goes your way or it doesn't, and you make the next dice roll in a little bit different manner when it comes to that kind of decision.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. This one interests me. All right.
Shout out to the 300 people watching. We appreciate you.
Oh, nice.
Hit the link in the description. Sign up. Closes at midnight tonight. You will not regret it. Don't you guys offer? What's your guys' guarantee? I know you used to offer a crazy guarantee. Are you doing that still?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a better than money back guarantee. If you're not interested after 7 days, or you don't like it, whatever it is, we will refund you all of your money. Plus,
who does that?
$50.
Who does that? Nobody's doing that but Chris. Nobody is doing that. I'm telling you guys, if you want to learn it, this is your guy. Like, you literally could learn half of the week for free. If you don't like it, let him know, get your money back. But I guarantee you're going to learn so much, you would feel guilty doing that, and you're going to want to complete the course.
I've only paid out 5.
You see what I'm saying? That's a testament to the quality. You know what I mean? It's also a testament to marketing, which is great.
Sorry, we're running.
Chris is deep in his search right now. I see my boy Mike Walters is on Facebook watching. You're gonna go through the challenge this year or what, bro? You're gonna sit on the sidelines again, second year in a row? Like, if you are someone who is looking into becoming a full-time Amazon seller, you need to learn this stuff, or if you're a newly full-time, reseller, you got time and you need to learn this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? An hour a day, Chris? 2 hours a day?
We usually run about 90 minutes a day on average.
Right? So all you got to do is turn off Netflix and don't play Tetris 99 for, 2 weeks, and you're good. Do you guys have any questions regarding online arbitrage or selling on Amazon at all? I'd be happy to answer some questions while Chris is going through some leads here in the chat.
Do not like that site.
Funko Pops. So what you're looking at right now is the results of jamming stores into Keepa, or what?
Yeah. These are all the results from this one Disney item right here. We pulled up all the storefronts there. Then we pared down to exactly what we're looking for.
So besides Keepa Product Finder, you use RevSeller to do all that?
Yeah, typically. RevSeller,
and I don't think SellerAmp has all of that exact features. Right?
They do not have this one feature that allows me to open them all up.
Yeah,
on Keepa.
That's integral, because we wouldn't be able to do that otherwise.
Yeah, it's a pain to do it manually. It's not my favorite thing to do manually. It can be done.
Right. So just to clarify, what Chris is showcasing right now is, so there's something in sourcing called rabbit trailing, right? And that's when you take one lead and you follow the rabbit trails and you find more items that are profitable. And the theory is basically that people who sell this item sell other items that might also be profitable. And on those items, there's other sellers that sell other items that might be profitable. And it's essentially infinite, manually or not. But because of this one-click feature with RevSeller that loads 50
50 stores at a time into a search. So then you're able to see a Keep a Product Finder search with all of the products that 50 different sellers are selling, that when it all came from one product, right? So that specific product that we were looking at first, that doll, had over 100 sellers. So there was one for the first 50, one for the second 50, and then like the last 25 sellers. And you could see all the products in there. Some of them are selling the same products, right? There's some overlap, but through that, you can get them all into a table, which is sortable and filterable, and you can find the winners through there quicker, you know what I mean, than manually. Savings and Smiles says, would you recommend FBA or FBM for a first-time seller? I understand that the shipping cost of FBM is more expensive than FBA, but I don't think I'll have enough merch weight to make FBA cost effective. So I actually recommend people do FBM, even if they want to do FBA, like primarily, just because it's a less risky way to get into the game and to understand it. And half of the process that you do with Merchant Fulfilled is the same for FBA. You still have to know how to find items. You still have to know how to list and price items. But instead of storing them at your house and shipping them to customers, you'll learn a new step, which is how to make an FBA shipment and send it. So I think it's easier to do Merchant Fulfilled. It's safer. If you make a big mistake, you have the products on hand. You don't have to pay Amazon to send them back to you. And you also get to learn step by step, you know. Next would be FBA. It's the same way I think of if you want to learn online arbitrage, like what Chris is showing. I recommend most people to do a little bit of retail arbitrage because I find it makes it easier to understand the concept of online arbitrage. We're essentially walking through a store scanning barcodes. We're just doing it from a computer, in a much different way. You know, we're not walking down aisles. We're hunting down products and brands and then reverse evaluating them to see if we can source them out at a price that's profitable. So Joni, Chris is teaching this in depth in the OA challenge over the next 14 days. There is a link in the description to sign up. They have a more than money back guarantee. So if you're not happy, you get your money back, I think, plus an extra $50. Is that what it is, Chris?
Yep.
So there's no reason not to take it if you want to learn online arbitrage. And to the question of, is it in my free course? So in my free course, it's only about like an hour of content or so. And so I do go over online arbitrage, how it works, what software you need to use to do it, but it's not like me going in depth like this to show you exactly how to use Keep a Product Finder or Tactical Arbitrage. A lot of these tools have their own videos that can teach you how to do it, or you could Google it and figure it out, or YouTube. So like in the free course, I'm just giving you like, hey, this is how it works, you know, so that you understand it and can figure it out on your own and have a better, you know what I mean, understanding. It's not like a hand-holding type thing. Let's see. Nate says, I just went to Lowe's to pick up 10 orders that I placed using gift cards. They were so suspicious and made me pull up my Ray's GCX account to verify the gift cards. That seems crazy.
That happens sometimes.
Like, hey guys, I'm trying to buy stuff. I'm a customer. Calm down.
I believe we may have found one here. This Ergon men's. Oh, that's SMC, not SF. Nope, I lied. I'm sorry.
Dang, we almost had a winner with the butt dart.
Here we are. I've actually ordered from this place before. So this one is the Ergon SMC men's saddle. It's $57.19 here. And we're looking at not really as profitable as I was hoping.
Can you zoom your page a little bit? Like hold control and scroll?
Yeah, I can.
Like while you're not over the pop-up? And just see how it makes. Does it make RevSeller bigger? There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So this one's not as good as I would have hoped. But again, I'm going a little bit slower than I'd really like to as well. But I can get this for $57.19, sell it for $86.68. It's only $9.46. Be a 17% ROI and 11% margin on this. But this does sell very nicely. I don't believe that this is an IP issue. I don't think so, because it kind of staggers down there.
And the other thing I would think about too is some of these products, man, like this one right here would be one I would put on my check for wholesale list immediately. This sells so consistently at such a stable price, and you're already able to make 10 at that little discounted price. It just makes me think you might be able to get it for $5 or $10 cheaper, even cheaper, if you got a wholesale. Now you might need to buy, I don't know, 10 or 20 units or whatever, but that's cross that bridge when you come to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Does it say, does it have amount sold on this one per month?
It says 50 plus.
Yeah, so generally that means, I mean, that chart looks like more than 50 to me, but we know it's more than 50 and theoretically less than 100 if it doesn't say 100.
Now, here's one of the things that I do from here, okay? I like to ride my bike every now and again, but I'm not a cyclist that's going to go and buy what looks to be an incredibly uncomfortable seat like this. But now I know that people are willing to spend money on this, and I now have another rabbit trail to go down. Seats and saddles. This
is a good one. Bike equipment.
Yeah.
Bike equipment in general. Bikes are not cheap. You know what I mean? It's not like a boat bust out another 1,000, but I'm sure there's a acronym for bikes. You know what I mean? If you want to get a good one and be serious about it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I've got a friend, and they're very into biking or cycling, and I believe they've got $12,000 or $15,000 invested into their rig. Like it's something.
Yeah, you got to call it a rig with those guys. If you call it a bike, they're probably mad. They're like, you need to call it a rig.
Most likely.
And it has a name too.
Oh yeah. So this is all this is. And I know we talked about going just an hour, so I don't want to take up too much more time, but this is the whole method. It's not this slow because I've got people watching. It's usually much, much faster. And if something doesn't click and you just feel off, then you move on to the next one and the next one. But what this does is this solves the problem of never knowing where to start, because you can just start anywhere. You don't have to worry about, looking up sales and things like that. And this will get your reps in. This is one of the problems. A lot of people say, well, I did OA. And I'm like, well, how long? Well, an hour. No, you got to do 10, 15, 20, 50 hours, and you need to really get your reps in. And this allows you to get your reps in very quickly, and it allows you to do a high volume of reps without having to go and search for things, through a Walgreens aisle or anything like that. And it allows you to go and look for coupon codes and discount gift cards and manufacture an ROI when you're doing all the right steps, all the things that we'll talk about in the OA challenge.
Let's be honest, right? Like, there are some people that think they can just buy a course or something and it will make them have money and be successful. And what you just said about, the 10 hours, 20 hours, I think that's an understatement. And I mean, you might have great success in 10 or 20, but some of you might take 100 hours to get to that same point that someone else gets to in 10 or 20. And I think a good way to think about learning a skill like this that can really pay off in the long run is, it might take 100 hours to get all right at it. And if I'm not ready to put 100 hours into it, then don't be naive and think it's going to work out, because if you don't put the work in, it's not going to work out. You know what I mean? Like, and I think 100 hours, I'll probably spend 1,000 hours trying to learn a single skateboard trick. You know what I mean? So it's like 100 hours to do something that can feed you and your family. You know what I mean? Like, it's 100 hours. You'll put 100 hours into binge watching, Lost for the second time.
I just read a stat that the average American takes in 82 hours of content per week.
Wowzers. That's crazy. I would like to see how much of it is longer form content. Like if we could weed out, obviously, you doom scroll for X amount of hours a day or whatever. But yeah, there's definitely a problem. Content's too accessible and it brainwashes us. You know what I do, guys? You might try this. I have a shortcut on my phone. It doesn't always work, but I set an alarm every time I open a social media app. A 5-minute timer starts. If I'm still doom scrolling and that timer goes off, that's my reminder that I'm now doom scrolling. So I use that to try to minimize. It's super annoying when I forget and it goes off, but at least it reminds me. Because we got to be like, at the same time that we have immense access to data that can change your life for free, right? And you could do it at any time of the day, not like our parents and grandparents who could only, work after, before 5 and didn't have the internet, right? Like we have the opportunity to get after it. It's kind of insane. You're on another one right now. You're looking for more?
Yeah. Here we go. This one, these folks do not file IP complaints, but they do not like resellers either. But we can get these for $20 and they're selling for $43.99 right now. And that's with a FBM seller on the buy box at the moment. FBA sellers are just a little bit above that at $44.25. What's
the supplier?
This one is Pampered Chef.
Oh, you're buying it direct.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're not really reseller friendly. You've got to go real careful here. But they it
is an item I could see people buying multiple quantities of. So this might fly under the radar if you're like 5 units, maybe 10 units will fly. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, I could see it. You buy 10 units of these to for you might need to yourself. It's a good gift, like whatever.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions that I can answer? Any things that came in? Yeah. Gordon got popped for Pampered Chef. That'll happen on occasion. I don't see them filing IP complaints anymore. I do see them sending cease and desist letters these days.
Yeah. Keep in mind, guys, everyone has their own different tolerance for those type of things. But if it's not coming through your account health dashboard, I usually don't worry about it. And when it comes to physical letters, I don't even consider worrying about those until they're registered. If I didn't sign for it, I didn't get it as far as I'm concerned. And so, I mean, you can't legally prove you received any notice that you didn't sign for. So it's, you know what I mean? It's like it costs them like what? $5,000 minimum, maybe 10 to go after someone in small claims court for what? So of course they send the letters, right? Because if you stop, that costs them 45 cents to send a letter. Registered mail, $1.50, little more investment. So, you know what I mean? They're trying to scare us.
I open those down at the trash can and they go right in the trash.
And watch out for the other sellers too, because third-party sellers nowadays, since our address, or at least some of our address is public, you can get people doing nefarious things, pretending to be, for example, Pampered Chef and sending you official seeming letterheads. But yeah, if it ain't registered, don't worry about it. Does anyone else have any questions?
Oh, there's another one. We got another one here.
All right, well, let's hit this last one.
I did $26.34 to take care of the shipping on this because they do $4 flat rate. So you buy 5 of these, you get another $5 in your pocket for each one of these sold. Price is it's trending up just a touch on this one. All right.
Is it still profitable at 30 or only at the 40? What is it? 45?
No.
What's the total profit there?
30, about $5, not a ton.
Cool.
Not
I was just looking at it that the supply was increasing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, but this one, I can tell that this one is going to be not made much anymore because this site, when they run out of stock, it's typically because things are no longer being made.
Right. Yeah, that's where your specific knowledge comes into play, and I fully see that. Like, this is a really niche figure from a specific game, I'm guessing, with a specific outfit on. And,
yeah,
they're not going to look the same in the next issuance of that figure or whatever. Awesome. All right, guys, hit the link in the description. The sign up ends tonight. Thank you to all 345 of you that joined us and learned. Don't miss your chance to learn our online arbitrage from the man himself, Chris Grant. Link in the description. It's midnight. Don't miss it. I'll see you guys there. Chris will see you there. And hopefully you guys learned something. Peace out. Thank you for tuning in.